Well, let's get started. So, all right. So, if you're watching this live, you're watching this, watching a recording. I want to introduce good friend Elissa Stone. Well, everyone, welcome, Elissa. Elissa, how you doing?
Good, thank you. I do have to admit, this is my first Facebook Live, so I'm super excited. Never done this. I
Yeah,
used to run the technology division, but I'm on it, and thank goodness that
yeah.
you set everything up. So thank you for having me.
Hey, thank God I didn't butcher it. I mean, I'm notorious for butchering presentations and all types of like technology stuff. So here we figured it out, so it's good. Um,
Awesome.
I've got contractors here and they're banging away. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Is it
I
loud?
can't hear it. No,
Okay,
but that's
because
okay because I know you have 5 kids, and I have twins. Okay, they're 5. You never know when they're going to make a guest appearance. I was on a business call the other day. I'm holding the door on one side, on a business call the
yeah,
other. They're trying to open it, so it's all good. Like we just go
yeah,
with the flow.
yeah. You're likely in that little French door behind me. You're likely to see one come up. Every now and then, my dog, she's the same way. She'll just push her way in, and who knows? Yeah, we're actually in the process. We're selling our house. Our house is under contract to be sold.
Oh,
So there's whatever they're doing, little inspection report stuff.
nice.
So we'll tell everyone about yourself a little bit. Family, professional, investing. Just share them, let them get to know you a little bit.
Just a good overview. Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit about myself. I have twins, amazing, one boy, one girl, Gavin and Layla. They just turned 5. And I've been in the corporate world for quite some time. So I started my career with a company called Robert Half International, and that was more on the staffing and recruiting side. And then, worked my way up in the actual ranks, running different divisions. And I took over one of the lowest producing offices worldwide. And and there's over 400 offices, so quite a few. And then within 8 months, we were at top 10. And so from there, I actually transitioned to a real estate boutique firm here in Houston. And, there was no better time in my life than to start my own company when you have major life changes. And so I'd always wanted to own my own company since I was 19 years old. I have it on one of my goal sheets. And I decided with very, very young kiddos, being the sole breadwinner of the home, I decided, hey, why is there not a better time to start your own company right now? And that's when I launched into the real estate redevelopment side of things. And have been doing that for 2 years now, have had some really cool successes, have learned a lot of lessons, as you do with life every single day. And then that's what's led me to this next transition in my life that we're going to be talking a little bit more about today, eXp.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. So, all right. So a couple kids, very extinguished backgrounds. So recently, some people who are friends with you on Facebook may have seen you. I know I saw you with some pretty high level entrepreneurs, Than Merrill being one. So tell everybody how that all came about, where you ended up on stage at the Fortune Builders Conference with Than Merrill and some other very high level entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much. It was absolutely an honor. I still turn around today, and I don't know how I ended up on stage, but it's one of those things where you set goals. So I started out with my actual company, Acquisitions by Design, 2 years ago. And I told one of my friends randomly one day, this is a network of over 26,000, actually more now, over 26,000 at the time, networking professionals within real estate. And I told one of my girlfriends who has nothing to do with real estate, hey, I'm going to be on stage at one of these annual conferences. So I attended one in 2000, it was 18. And then that's when I made those comments. Now, I had no idea how I was going to end up on stage. I just knew that it was going to happen. And so I went through the process, and, it's goals. You put them in front of you, and your daily life drives you towards those goals. And so it was such an honor because in some of my networking, I've met some amazing professionals, international speakers, things of that nature. And I was asked to be part of the Ultimate Business Badass panel. And so I was the only woman on the panel. There were 5 other very, very distinguished, prominent men, one of them being Frank Mir, who is the UFC heavyweight champion. So that was quite amazing. I'm
Yeah,
looking to one side of me and I'm like, wow.
yeah.
But it was talking about overcoming life's challenges, how you are successful from that, and how do you continue to get back up. And I think that's a very pivotal point right now
Mhm.
with what we're facing as well. And so it's like it's taking that real estate background and being on stage at these conferences and meeting some of the most prominent people in the industry, like a Than Merrill, Paula Sajan. And it is, you are and will become what you surround yourself with. That's what I've been brought up with, and that's what I continue to go forward with. And that's also one of the reasons why I'm choosing eXp, and why, after meeting you, decided hands down that's where I'm going, and have made that happen now.
Yeah, and I'm excited to have you on the team. So let's talk about that a little bit. So, you know, right now we live in such a crazy time. So much is going on, not just with, the pandemic, but the market crash. Oil and gas is low, interest rates are really low, and we've got some favorable supply and demand things going on the real estate side too. It's just kind of, it's a weird time. And sadly, the thing, when there's market shifts, when there's a crash, when we go through this type of stuff, it's really sad, because you know people are going to take losses, and people are not set up to be sustainable in this market. And I know, I've been at eXp for almost a couple of years now, and that's one of the things that drew me to eXp. Was I began researching the company, began researching the founder, the creator, Glenn Sanford. And the thing with eXp is it was launched. It was the blueprint, so to speak, was laid out in 2008 when real estate was crashing. So who would be crazy enough to think about, hey, let me launch a real estate brokerage 2008? And they officially launched it in 2009, right at the absolute bottom of the market. And so now here we are 11 years later, once again, in going into possibly a massive recession here. And at the same time, where eXp is growing, it's growing like never before. It's growing like no other brokerage has before. It's growing twice as fast as Keller Williams ever grew. And so, people I think are starting, or they already are. I know that they're stopping and looking, saying, why is this company growing this fast? Even everything that we're going through right now, even right now through this pandemic, eXp is growing like crazy. And it's because of the sustainability of the model. And we were talking about being on Zoom calls and working remotely. That's how eXp was built. It was really built, and you can, everyone. I'd encourage you to get to know more about the founder of the company and his background, his tech background, how he kind of merged that with this real estate space to be sustainable. That's one of our core values as with eXp. That's one of my core values as well as a real estate investor, is to be sustainable in every market, because when market shifts come, I mean, massive number of people get they get put out of business. They get knocked out of business, and I don't want to be that person, right? I saw my parents go through that as a child. We lost everything, and 13, 14 years later, I've been successful. I went through '08. I went through '09. I made it through that, and and it wasn't always easy. But what I've seen at eXp just makes it so much. I guess I would say just like more at peace to go through a time like this, where yes, I have multiple businesses and companies and investments and income streams. eXp is one of them. It is, in terms of my, if I had a radar of like, the concerns I have, like right now, I've got two projects on the market. Believe this or not, we have 12 properties that we're putting on the market to sell in the next 30 days.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
It's a lot. Well, it wasn't exactly intentional. I'll share it real quick. And we started looking at where we're at in the market. And late last year, earlier this year, I said, hey, I've got these properties that are, most of them are tenant occupied, saying, hey, we're going to not renew leases. We're going to get tenants out, do make readies, get them on the market in April or May, sell at the top of the market. So literally in the last 2 or 3 months, I had 4 or 5, tenant properties that were occupied, happy tenants, willing to stay, and we just said, no, we're going to sell. And so we did this all right before this happened. So, so, so here we go. We're going to find out if the stimulus happens. But the thing is there's a lot of fears and concerns with business. But with the eXp business model, we don't have that, right? There's no risk. There's a massive amount of reward and upside, sustainability, efficiency. So, anyways, let me. What's
If you
that?
mind, I said I'm glad you're highlighting that because I'll kind of dovetail from the real estate
Yeah.
investment side over to EXP. So, I just wrapped up a massive, massive single family redevelopment project. And when I say massive, it was probably about $140,000 rehab. So anything and everything that needed to happen to this home, it happened. And so as I'm coming out of this, that the coronavirus is kind of hitting market and everybody, it's fear induced. And so I used it to my advantage. When I immediately got the house on the market, I did an evaluation of the market, where we're at, where we're going. And obviously the people that are in the market buying, more than likely, if they're in a specific situation like relocating, things of that nature, they want to get in a home and they want to get settled. So how do we, make that happen for them? And then at the same time, from a real estate investment perspective, how do I, make that happen for me so I can move on to my next project or EXP? And so long story short, ended up, negotiating a 5-day option period to where it's a combination and winning on both sides. Now, where this goes into with EXP is I always look at trends in the market, right? There's been a trend in the market for EXP for quite some time, especially now after this virus has hit the market. There's a reason why over 550 agents joined eXp last week alone. There's also a reason why there was a $2 billion a year independent brokerage with over 900 agents recently joined as well. And it's because of the opportunity. It's the virtual platform, and it's the opportunity in several different aspects. Over 50 hours a week in training. It's also the revenue share. That's one of the biggest reasons why I joined eXp. So it's kind of like a threefold. Obviously, I have my redevelopment company. When I'm listing homes, I get to obviously take home the commission side of that. But then at the same time, I've always been taught in business, you want to diversify your income. You want to be very good and very focused in one area, but at the same time, you want to have a diversification of income. That way, if something happens, you're not reliant on one source of income.
Yeah.
That's the revenue share with eXp.
Yeah.
So I'm taking my recruiting and staffing background when I worked for an international Fortune 500 company, and I'm now building my team. And what that entails is you can recruit your own team, and you're going to benefit in the revenue share of that portion. And when I say revenue share, it's not the actual profit, it's the revenue. There is a difference. There are other models out there that focus on giving you a percentage of the profit. This is overall revenue. And when I'm looking, Brant, someone such as yourself, even Connor, you are and will become what you surround yourself with. Y'all are successful investors in the real estate market. You've joined this model, and I noticed this trend. And in looking at that, when I'm doing my due diligence and I'm looking at the detail, because I back things based by fact, also intuition, but also fact. And when I'm looking at people on the passive revenue side, getting checks of, 5, 6, over 10 grand a month in one check that have built their team, that's amazing. So you have your income of buying and selling homes, and then you also have the revenue share portion. And, there's so many other things. It's the training. It's the virtual workplace where that's really where we're going. And recently, I'm sure most of you probably saw the publication, but eXp was rated number 2 in virtual workspaces. And we were the only real estate company that was ranked within the top 25 for virtual real estate workplaces.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I'm a big proponent, always talking about leading with value, and in my opinion, that's what EXP has done. They've given agents a way to create an additional income stream, a way to have ownership in the company with stock benefits, a way to massively increase their lead generation, a way to work more efficiently. And no one saw, the corona pandemic coming, but we're set up for it. And there will be other pandemics. There will be other, we've suffered hurricanes and other disasters, unfortunately, in the future. We're set up for that. Like we're we're built for this. And while most companies are going down during this time, we're growing massively like never before. How many agents last week? 550, you said? Last week.
550.
What do you think other brokerages growth rate is right now? You know,
Uh,
probably.
it's actually probably going the opposite direction.
Yeah,
And
exactly, and that's sad, but that's just the way it is, and that's what eXp is built. We get medical benefits as agents now. I've got 5 kids. You've got 2. Medical, insurance is very expensive these days. We're saving over $800 a month just with that alone. But what it comes down to, in my opinion, is like eXp has just figured out a way to add so much more value to agents and give that to them compared to what other brokerages have. And when you lay it all out, pros and cons, and that's what I encourage everyone to do if you're an agent, and that's what I did. I looked at where I was previously licensed. I was at a flat fee shop, not a flat flea shop, a flat fee shop for 10, 11 years. And I moved to eXp. When you lay it out, when you put all the pros and cons for most agents, whenever they look at everything, it's typically a no-brainer. Boils down to 2 things. Number one, typically it's just cheaper. Like, they're gonna save money if they're at another like big box brokerage. They're gonna save money like day one whenever they come to eXp. And then number 2, it's better. And so for agents watching this, I'd encourage you to ask yourself, and if you haven't looked at the model, if you've looked at it in the past, I would look at it again. I've had multiple agents this week alone that I've talked to in the past reach out to me and say, "Hey, Brant, we need to talk about eXp again." So I'd encourage you to look at the model and go through your checklist, right? Benefits, pros, cons, risk, rewards, all those types of things, and then you begin. It usually leads agents down a path to answer these questions. Number one, are you compensated for helping your broker grow the team by just inviting other agents to the brokerage? Financially compensated, and compensated well, because we're compensated very, very well to help our company grow, a company that we love. Number 2, are you given ownership in the company? Number 3, are you given leads and lead generation tools? Number 4, are you given, I've already said equity. Number 4, are you given all the tools and the resources, 50 hours a week of live training, live support, the virtual ward that we've created? Are you able to work anywhere? Are you able to go pop into any Regis office in your city, or if you're traveling, we can do that. Are you given medical benefits? All these other things that we have. Just ask yourself if your broker provides those things, and then ask yourself what's going to help you get your business to the place that you need it to be, which model, and what's going to put you in the best financial situation for you and your family to meet your goals and to be sustainable in any market. Because I know brokerages right now, they're shutting down because they can't keep the doors open, and they're going to try to figure this out and go virtual. And that's why even brokerages, like you mentioned, are coming to eXp2 in droves. And we've got some incentives for brokerages as well, where they can keep all their commission, all their agents' production for a certain amount of time. It's just kind of almost kind of like a lost leader, but also helping other, people in our industry, fellow agents and brokers, kind of get through this time as well. So to everyone, we'll wrap this up in a minute, but just share some people, like, with everything going on, I saw your whiteboard in your office. So tell everyone about some of your goals and things like that, because we were talking about before we even went live. It's you can't get drugged down by the negativity that's out there. You got to turn off the news, get off the Netflix. I know a lot of people are Netflix binging and watching this doom and gloom stuff. There's going to be so much opportunity, not only with eXp, real estate, investing. So what are some of your goals this year?
I think the number one thing right now, Brant, is how we respond right now is what's going to define us moving forward. Mm-hmm. I know where I'm at in my head. Yes, I have my wonderful days. I have my bad days, where doubt takes over, fear takes over. But I realize that. And what I do is I make a plan to get back up. And as far as my goals, it's threefold. I'm going to continue my real estate redevelopment company. There's going to be some massive opportunity out there on the buying side. So I'm going to continue that pillar. I'm also going to be very, very focused on eXp because I'm passionate. I believe about the company. I believe the actual model. And I realize everybody's reason for joining when they do is different. And for me, what drives me is I love building amazing teams. I did very well with that with an international staffing and recruiting firm. Again, I took the lowest producing office, over 400 worldwide, to top 10 within 8 months. And so I'm building my team. That's what I'm being very focused on. I've got my strengths, I've got my weaknesses, and I'm looking for other team members that we're going to be working very closely and tightly together, and they help balance me out in those areas and vice versa. And, along with that, also increasing the buying and selling power of working with different families and individuals in the market that are wanting to either move into a home or, sell the existing one. And so my goals, and I'll put this out there because I'm a very, very open person, is within 2 years, I will be within the top 5% of eXp. I'm a very goal-oriented person. I've been a top producer all my life. Sometimes I don't know how I'm going to get to where I want to go, but eventually I get there. It may not be on the exact timeline, but those are the things that drive me. So I'm looking for people who want to kind of be on that ride with me and share in the journey, because some people, it's not just about the end goal. It's also about the journey and getting there. And I believe eXp Realty is where I'm going to go. And I go back to like the cliche thing, either get in the game or sit on the sidelines. I'm all in. There's nothing in between with me. It's all in or all out, and I'm in the game, and I'm going to continue forward with that. And 2 years from now, we'll be having this probably Facebook Live, and we'll see where I'm at.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's eXp is an incredible vehicle, right? And so everyone's business is their business. You get to run your business. We all have different places we want to go in business. We have different destinations we want to get to. Your brokerage is like the vehicle, right? It's the car that you're going to get in and drive that's going to help you get there. We happen to think eXp is a Maserati. It's incredible in every way. So if you're an agent, you're watching this, or you're an investor and you're thinking about getting your license, which I think you're very wise to think about that, because they are outlawing wholesaling and off-market deals in multiple states as we speak. They're trying to legislate that across the country. Just do your own research on that. But if you're interested in learning more about eXp, Elissa, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you? You want them to send you a private message or?
Sure. Send me a private message. For anybody that has my cell phone, feel free to text, call anytime, and then we'll go back and forth. And, as Brant mentioned earlier, it is your own business. That's very important to know that. So you're growing kind of your legacy and creating your own destiny, but at the same time, it's in a team environment. And so you will become what you surround yourself with. And when you're with other strong people in the same market and you continue to feed and grow off of each other, that's the most important thing in the building process. So I did want to highlight that, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Thanks, Brant.
And then too, and we'll wrap up, but what people need to think about too, is just coming to my mind as, small business owners are struggling, and us as real estate entrepreneurs, when we made a decision to partner our business with eXp, and that's all that we're doing, is we're partnering with them. I like to call eXp a bolt-on business to my main business, to my core business, which is investing. It's a bolt-on business. It's a bolt-on income stream with some amazing benefits. One of those benefits, especially now in a time like this, is we, as eXp agents, we've got access to close to 700 full-time employees in the cloud in over 25 different divisions, right? So we have specialized help in all these different divisions, whether it be contractor, legal, or different broker rooms, tech support, all that type of stuff. We get access to all of that. So running our business from our homes and our offices, or while we're traveling, that's what this was built to do. That's what this is built to do. I know a lot of people aren't traveling right now, but it's going to change very, very soon. Things are going to get
We will
back to
be. We
normal.
will be soon. Like
We
if you're
will
on
be
vacation
soon.
or
Yeah,
virtually, how easy
we
is
will be.
that?
We will be soon. Well, thanks for coming on, Alyssa. I'm so excited to have you part of the team. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. Reach out to Alyssa if you want to learn more about eXp and the things that she's providing for her team members.
Thank you for having me, and
All
thanks for
right.
the opportunity,
All
Brant.
right.
I'm so glad we met. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care.
Take
Bye.
care.
Hey, you still there?